Welcome everyone, this is Pineleaf Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Andang,
Hey everybody.
Terry Adwin,
Hi, hi.
Maven,
Hey, y'all.
Arithert,
Muted.
There's always
Arithert,
one.
Hi, everybody.
and Carfet.
At your service and your families.
And this week, the exciting news from Turbine is... Cricket,
The
it
game's
looks
still
like.
on! Woohoo!
Hey, they restarted the Landreval server this week. That was, woohoo.
Or
That
we
happened.
don't know why.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't
Well,
there a hot fix this week?
There was
there
a
was,
hot
wasn't
fix this
There
week.
was a
but
hot
then,
fix this week.
But yeah, and then they restarted the Landreval servers on Friday, and I don't know why.
Mostly
mysteriously.
the hot fix was different things for performance, primarily.
Yeah.
I've heard good things about it fixing Minas Tirith's quackiness, so hey.
Yeah.
Minas Tirith apparently is not as quirky.
It fixed shields. You can now hide shields.
That's pretty sweet.
Right, so the exciting news is you can now hide shields.
Yeah,
Which
there you go.
should have been able to do anyway.
All right. So what's on sale at the store?
Well, not a whole lot, but our free sample this week is a plus 5% attack damage for 90 minutes. Use coupon code that you can find in the show notes or at the LOTRO.com store link, one time per account. Also, 25% off Gift of the Valar, Third Age item trove, and Legacy scroll box. But this weekend, if you happen to be VIP, there is a VIP event, 100% boost to XP, 25% boost to crafting XP, and mark acquisition, and that's November 20th through the 22nd. So by the time the show actually gets posted to iTunes on Monday, you're out of luck.
But I have a little thing to say about anytime there's a weekend with XP boost, especially crafting XP boost, get your mats into the auction house. I made a killing last weekend with crafting XP boosts. I made like 50 gold on materials in the auction house because people go in and they want to get their boost and they don't have materials and they don't want to go get it, so they go to the auction house and buy it. Just a tip, just a little money tip from the Maven.
All right.
Where'd you go?
Interesting is
What?
I saw the 100% XP bonus and the various XP bonuses there, but I didn't see that they had the mark acquisition bonus until I was running Icy. I was wondering, wait a minute, it's just the wrong number of marks.
See, I don't
And
think I
Pineleaf
actually
wouldn't
ever pay
know.
attention to marks.
And Pineleaf would
you would
know.
know.
I know.
Pineleaf would
I was
know.
thinking the same thing. I wouldn't know the difference, but yes,
Hey,
somehow that doesn't
Max,
surprise
woohoo!
me.
Pineleaf's like, wait a second, this seems about 25% higher. Oh, yeah!
Yes, because I was trying to look, where did I have the mark bonus at? I said, oh, the event had that also. All right, and there is some word from Turbine that they are working with their store provider to maybe have a little bit more logic to these store codes. So we'll see if that ever gets around to it. It's
But
probably
then you
next time they
can't
have the
pronounce
store
them like
update.
you burgers is 7223 kazur.
You gotta make sure you have the kazoo at the end, because that's what really sets it apart.
That's how you know it's Dwarven.
Yeah.
That's because of the concern.
Yeah. Otherwise, it was Uber-723 Kazad, and that's a whole different word.
It would be funny if like Turbine gradually gained control of the coupon code so they like start working from the back up and like start making sense of it gradually.
So it'd be like Elbreth.
Yeah. And after saying it, you'd be out of breath.
I am
Yeah.
curious. What exactly is a third age item trove? Is it just like a buttload of third age items, like all at
No,
once?
it's a box where you can pick your third age item of choice
From a trove.
from
Yeah, so
a
you can
trove that has a
basically
bunch
say-
of them.
Oh, so
But
it's
you
like
have
a
to leave
trove.
all of
like-
the rest of that crap in there, and you just get one shiny.
Oh, okay. What about
Like
the
the
legacy
idea-
scroll box?
Same thing.
Same thing. You just pick one legacy.
You just pick one legacy, and it's one of those legacies that you can meld for.
Oh,
So if
yeah.
you don't want to spend your hard-won shards, you can spend turbine points.
Oh, okay, which are
Yeah.
easier to get. Totally.
Kind of, yeah.
All right.
I
then-
guess it's how many deeds you do.
Yeah. This week's LOTRO Players News is brought to you by a new stable service.
Sometimes you just want to get from point A to point B in Middle-earth, but your goat is too smelly and your war steed is a second-hand clunker. And frankly, the Eagles are just no help at all. Your solution? Fell Beast Airlines, the best service of flight covering all of Eriador and Rovanian. Easy luggage check-in with roadside tell and pickup, in-flight fear refreshments, and now non-stop flights to Gondor and Mordor. Fly Fell Beast Airlines, where we save the terror for the landing crew.
We'll begin with the community events calendar for November 20th through 26th. Yes, our events calendar now goes beyond the weekend.
Yay!
So anything...
Yeah, point of interest is going to be Friendship France, which is tomorrow. It is a community gathering on the Saranan server. Sorry, tomorrow as of the recording date. So
Yes.
again, if it's posted on iTunes, you guys have missed it. But for those folks who are listening live or happen to catch it, before tomorrow, Sunday the 22nd of November, 3 p.m. server time, which keep in mind is U.S. Eastern Standard Time, whatever, Eastern Time, Boston time, because the servers are in Boston.
Right.
Prancing Pony Stage Brie, and there's a whole list of stuff that's in Friendship France, and it's a community event to support our friends in France. There's some other stuff in here too, but that was my highlight for the week.
That was your highlight.
That was my highlighted event for the week, I should say.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to make it. I have a character on Saranan.
All right. Anybody else have anything they want to call out before we head on? Then let's go to a tour through LOTRO. I know you think we've been doing that for years.
Well, this was an article posted by I forget the author's name because I don't have the
King
article.
But King Tag is the name that it says.
Yeah, and asking folks to leave comments for where their favorite areas were in LOTRO. So some great comments here about where people's favorite areas were.
I didn't actually get a chance to comment, but I'm so torn. Like, I don't think I could answer it in a comment.
Yeah, I'm
like
I'm with one of the folks who said I can't pick just one.
I can pick like 2 or 3 or 5 or 16.
I could probably maybe narrow it down to a top 10.
I could narrow it down to like 2 whole regions.
If I was really pressed if I was really pressed to narrow it down to a top 10 for some reason and had about 2 weeks to think about it, I could probably maybe narrow it down to top 10.
I got it down to 2. Eriador, Rovanian.
I was thinking the same thing.
No, because there's 3 zones. Because you got Eriador and Rovanian, and now you have Gondor too, so top 3.
Gondor counts as Rovanian.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
It's Rovanian South.
It does not. It's its own zone.
There's a mountain between
other
Just
side
because
of
they
the mountain.
that's only because they ran out of space on the deed tabs.
No,
It's
that's
really-
not the reason.
As somebody who mains a character from Gondor, it's a totally separate region.
Yeah.
I'd have to say like Rohan is probably my favorite. Rohan and then the Shire. Because music.
Lily Kate says it's West Mordor.
There you go.
That's what Sauron thinks.
It's the
I
national-
want Mordor housing. Can we get Mordor housing, please?
Move into Minas Tirith today with new Mordor housing.
No, it'd be play a creep and pick a rock to lay on after you've finished playing.
I
But I
totally
do.
want creep housing. I want a little work den.
You had a little work.
I do. I want a work den.
like hobbit skin rugs and
Yeah,
No,
the
Bjorn
arm
rugs.
bones to lay on.
Bjorning rugs is what it was.
Bjorning rugs. Come on.
I was telling Pineleaf earlier today.
Tapestries.
I was
If
telling
you can
Pineleaf
manage
earlier
to kill
today.
enough Bjornings to get a Bjorning rug, you deserve a Bjorning rug.
You totally do.
Seriously.
There's some truth to that.
All right.
That was your
And-
chance. Oh my god.
Hold up, Pineleaf. I was telling you earlier today that with every bed inside player housing, there should come like a res circle surrounding it because people seem most comfortable in the res circle so to like sleep at night, they need the comfort of the red circle to surround them. Clearly in LOTRO.
Plus, it'd be cool to res in your own bed.
That would be cool.
That would
That'd be awesome.
And Dracula Leto would love it because then it'd be like a pseudo coffin where you're just like rising
Yeah.
up from
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's resting in your own bed. That sounds like something out of Minecraft.
That's fine. Minecraft does a lot of good things.
Well, what if you don't have a bed?
Then you don't res. No, then you
Well,
res in all the other
default
res
to a
circles.
regular res circle. Yeah, right.
So you could have like options when you retreat
Just
to
as
the
long as you're
nearest
not
one, or
resing in
just
somebody
retreat to your
else's bed.
house. I can't think of any reason anyone would want to like retreat back to your house except for roleplay purposes.
Well, the red circle around your house is just if you die around the housing area.
Oh, okay.
Because if you
How
put a
on earth
house
are you
in
gonna manage to do
Mordor,
that?
if you put a house in Mordor, then you're going to be dying a lot.
Well, there is that. All right. Now, this week's poll is asking you for ideas for polls.
Yes, I have finally run out of ideas.
Oh, some people thought you had done that a month ago.
Yeah, that was the only wrong answer earlier because I already had other polls scheduled when I put that poll up. So I really didn't run out of poll ideas back then. So
I do like the "You're my only hope" token thing.
yeah,
That's pretty good.
because Star Wars is coming up. So anyway, we got a lot of good poll ideas, and if you'd like to share your poll idea, feel free to go over to the article and share it on there so that we can have more and more polls for a long time, because I'm just totally out of ideas. I've been doing it for well over a year, and that's a lot of polls.
I like Belcountian's one suggestion. Who looks the most tired during Tales of the Free Folk?
Speaking of, I need to grab a coffee between now and then.
Oh boy.
All right.
Oh no.
If we don't get no polls, then you don't have no rolls. Anyway.
And this week we had a double header for Small Lotro Adventures. We first had a catch-up episode where Lily and Lizzie finally got a new sound system, so they installed it and did a catch-up episode to do all those episodes that they missed in the last few weeks because they didn't have the sound system to do the recording. And then the following episode, their sound system apparently failed.
Boo.
So
When you first
yeah,
said
it
they
looks like it
installed
still
a
needs a little
sound,
tweaking.
sorry, when you first said they installed a sound system, my immediate thought was like, I want a sound system in my Hobbit hole, like in game. But then I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't make
Well,
sense.
you do get access to those different music boxes you can put in, so that makes sense. And if you want to change out the song, you just reach over into your housing chest and pull out a different one.
A lot of different record to slot into your built-in wall-mounted
Wall entertainment system. Yep.
yeah, with 9.1.
It's like omnidirectional sound. And what you really don't realize is it's not so much an in-wall sound system. It's a pocket dimension with a band of minstrels.
So Lillicate in the chat says that they were actually whispering because part of their family was asleep, so that was why it was quieter.
Oh, yeah, I think she said something about maybe next time we will film it when the family's not asleep.
Yeah, but she had to catch up. She had to do that. So
Makes sense.
Well, there is that.
one of
Alright.
my. Oh, go ahead. It was nothing. Keep going.
All right. And Nim had posted about their experiences at the data center testing on the Bulwer test server, which apparently wasn't much because getting logged in is a real pain.
Yeah, this was an interesting article, but I think very accurate to the experience of testing. But this is why we need testing, so that it can be better than this experience when the servers actually go live. And so that's why I'm glad that they're doing plenty of Bulwer testing. But yes, the experience has definitely been not so good for the testers, but that's part of being a tester.
That is part of the tester.
true.
Right. And then we head on then into Lotro video highlights Beyond the Infinite mine. And who says things aren't black and white?
I gotta be honest with you, Pine. This was a really great video. I liked some of the things in this video. There is one shot where the white mage girl and the black mage dude are like doing this dance in synchronization around each other, and it was hot. I'm like,
That's the elf do
whoa.
dance. That's the elf.
Yeah, but it was like,
Yeah,
man.
when you can sync it up and you
I
have to
was like,
sync it
there's
up and
some like I
really
know
close
it's
to
in
each other.
black and white, but there was some red heat going on. Like their
It,
eyes were
yeah,
locked and stuff. I was like, yeah.
it actually is a pairs dance. It can be done as a line dance, but it actually is a pairs dance.
That would make sense.
My favorite part of this video is when they summon that huge pet that has its tongue hanging out in slow motion and it's just going back and forth. Is pretty funny. But this video is extremely abstract, and I really, really like it. It's another fantastically beautiful video by Nukem7. They get some of the most amazing looking shots in LOTRO, partly because they use some After Effects to enhance LOTRO. And so if you want to see one of the most beautiful LOTRO videos you'll ever see, then definitely watch this video. It's really good.
That's the
Yeah.
same guy that did the video where the arcade turned into a dragon, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it looked like familiar to me. I was like, oh snap, that's the same guy. It's cool.
All right, we have another new installment of Piney's Pictorial Primer to Skirmishing, The Ford of Bruinen.
After your highlight last week, I am not surprised that this was the primer this week.
Yeah, that Pine Leaf's highlight section is basically the prequel to the pictorial primer. Like it's the dead giveaway.
Oh, because you guess which one I've been running to death in order to.
Uh-huh. I mean, when you tried to do your bingo quest at during the Fort of Bruinen skirmish, it's that giveaway right there.
So, Pineleaf, if on the day that you finish this by going through all the skirmishes, and they make like huge, like entire revamp of the skirmish system, are you going to return to this?
You notice how in the current ones I'm doing, I'm putting the update number that they relate to.
Okay.
And the
There you
reason I'm
go.
doing that is on the assumption that at some point I would have to make revisions.
So you're planning ahead. That's good.
I know, what a shock.
think you're
Let's
the
head
only one of
into
us
the
who will
Family
do that.
Line part 68, and I missed that they actually posted one this week.
I got kind of lost in whatever else came out. There were
It
like
did.
4 other things that happened that day.
We have a lot of new writers, and so we've had a lot of more posts this week, as you can see in this section. And there are even more writers that are applying, so we're gonna have even more posts in the weeks to come. So it's very cool that with Minas Tirith, it seems like players are really coming back to the game, which seems to happen every time there's a really big update. So glad to see people coming back and joining the LOTRO players team.
All right. Then let's head into the Ninnyhammers performing Libiamo Nelieti Calici, which is apparently a drinking song.
I was super bummed because for whatever reason SoundCloud is not working in my browser, so I can't listen to it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know what broke
Did
in
you
my
update
browser.
Flash?
Yeah.
Huh.
Like recently updated my Flash, so
What
yeah,
browser are you using?
Firefox.
That's why Flash and Firefox don't mix very well.
Well, I've been able to listen to it previously, so it was just something that broke this week.
Yeah, well, with my experience with Firefox, and it might be just mine, so like no hard feelings towards them, but in my experience, it seems like that like every other week, Flash breaks in Firefox for me. So
I
anyway,
don't know. I haven't found a browser yet where Flash doesn't break regularly.
it works
Yeah,
well on Chrome
Flash
for
just
me.
sort of, it's weird because it works for other things, it doesn't like SoundCloud for whatever reason.
Interesting.
All right, and Lonely Mountain Band song giveaway, and therefore we are giving, or actually, who is giving away this song?
Well, Pineleaf, I'm so glad that you read this article.
Actually, I did. I just.
Oh, okay. Yes, LOTRO Players is actually giving away 8 copies of Stand by the Greystone thanks to Lonely Mountain Band. They gave us 10 codes to do as we wish, and so we gave away 2 to our patrons on Patreon because we gave them kind of first chance at it, and now we're giving away the remaining 8 to people on LOTRO Players. And currently there are only 4 comments on this post. And so, people might be getting multiple codes if we don't get some more. It'd be really cool to be giving these away, and the requirements are actually much lower for this giveaway because we have so many codes to give away. We're actually just going to send the codes right away to whoever ends up being chosen as the winner, so we won't be waiting for them to reply back. So it's much easier process to get these codes this time. So
I presume you have the general rule on all LOTRO players, website, podcast, past and current, and staff and past, and immediate family thereof are not eligible for this contest.
yes, finally, since you read it off of the article verbatim, I think you know that that is the case with this giveaway.
All right, let's go to new chapters of There and Back Again Discovered, A Critter's Journey.
This is great.
So, are you sure we're not going to be chickening out or anything like that?
Oh, brother. Yeah, this is actually a new writer, and really cool to see Squirrely, or Squirrelay, if it's French,
Or
uh,
squirrel.
or Squirrel. Um, Actually doing these kind of like comic strip articles, and you can open the image in a new tab and make it bigger, and it's really cool. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they come up with next.
Awesome.
Right, and we have another new episode of Poems of the Pine,
Yay!
The Frozen Land. Frigid Forhel, the frozen waste, was a place where ice paralyzed the ground. We spoke with Lossie of the Losoth race to learn what news would to Narquil lead. We faced 3 tasks to test our worth, strength and stamina so we could stay alive, plus wisdom to show the way to survive, to make us ready for Mordrebor's wrath. From a seer named Saya, we sought advice that led to a ship that was shattered in ice. There our Vedui, the king that left vacant the throne, haunted the shore of the shivering bay. We followed the trail to the frozen cave where an elf had sheltered after a ship's demise. Yet Angmar's agents were able to stay a step ahead in our hopeless quest. We faced our foe on a floor of ice as Saya the seer transformed. A new master had Mordrembor, so Amarthio he fought as we plucked the precious Narquil.
Yay! It was awesome. It's awesome. Doesn't convey how annoying that book is. It just condenses all of the awesomeness that would be awesome about that book if it wasn't so freaking annoying running around Forakel and getting lost.
Well, yeah, I try to avoid the annoying bits unless it's absolutely necessary.
That book of the epic was my first time in Forakel on Terry Adwin, and I died in the ice bay because I got lost trying to find the ghost ship. Because I didn't realize that you couldn't swim that ice bay.
Right
I was like,
across.
well, I'm a little bit fast, but it's fine. I'll just swim right there. Yeah, nope.
Nope. And then most likely when you did finally find the right route, I'm sure the battleground was red instead of blue, so you had to fight your way through a ton of
That
Gordaran.
didn't matter because I was so
Oh,
over
yeah.
leveled by that point that everything was gray.
Ah,
Oh yeah, they're all over the place.
in fact, I have a feeling that these days it's very rare for any of those battle areas to actually be blue.
I've seen them blue on
You have
occasion.
seen them blue?
Have
Yeah.
you? Really?
They're not that hard to flip solo. The only one that's a real pain is that one right there before the ship, because those guys respawn quickly. So you got to have a lot of DPS to be able to clear that out.
You know, and I've never actually done any of the like I never understood that flipping thing in Evandim or Forkel. Like I never actually did it leveling up. Shoot me now, right?
Well, you
Yeah,
didn't.
basically it's just running up, killing everything, and then all
You
of a
didn't get it.
sudden
You
some.
didn't get it until you hit the moors. Is that the deal?
Yeah, I never like what is this flipping like I would see so the army of something or other like does something and I'm like well, okay, it doesn't affect my life and I just kind of went on with whatever I was doing.
Right. I see that quite a bit in Evendim, but I very rarely see it in Forhel.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't see it very
I
often in Forakel.
yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't
I
realize
learned it
till
in
just now that they
Numinous
had
when you
that in
when you
4L.
couldn't, you know, like in Numinous, there's some quests you can't complete if if a certain site isn't holding the area you got to go into. That took me a while to figure out.
All right, and this week we have a Brax Memorial pick, which is the first time we've had one in a while. And this week the pick is Middle Earth lore parody, Light the Beacons. Or is that Bacons?
No, it's definitely Beacons, although he might be baked.
Like the Bacons.
Like I'm pretty sure that he was baked.
Oh
It
yeah,
wasn't half
this is
baked.
really funny. This is really funny. If
Yeah.
you liked real Middle Earth lore, you'll love the parody of Middle
Even
Earth
if you
lore.
didn't like real Middle Earth lore or never even saw real Middle
Yes.
Earth lore, you will
You'll
love this.
still love it.
It is hilarious.
Even if you didn't like Middle Earth lore, you will like this parody.
That's right.
That's literally what
Because
they just
it's-
said. But yes, that is true. And this is really, really awesome. A big thanks to Bragg with 2A's for helping us, or actually doing this on his podcast. Really cool. And big thanks for him allowing us to share the video form on my YouTube channel. It's really cool that he allowed that to happen. And it's awesome and really funny and highly recommend it. And I recommend checking out his actual podcast, Light the Beacons, because he has funny stuff like this all the time. So,
Yeah.
highly recommend it.
I can't wait for him to do the Bree one, and maybe he'll talk about Bill the Pony.
Well, he is looking forward to going someplace important, like Brie.
Yeah. So
That's
Bragg,
right.
you've
That's
been
right.
challenged now to do the second episode
That's right.
as a drunken dwarf, or maybe as a drunken hobbit for lulls.
He narrates his brag like as the character.
That's true.
Bragg, so,
Just
yeah,
as
it'll be
really drunk
it'll be
Bragg.
So I've been drinking, and yeah, it's Middle Earth lore. Okay, started.
All right, and let's head into
So
our
awkward.
new player question for this week. And Maven, you are back. So what do you have for us?
So we have a new player question this week. Yes, in honor of this past week's Mingo Boffin quest, what does shared spawn table mean, and why does that matter? And hold Terry down.
Oh,
We talk about this.
so frustrating this week. So this week's Bingo Boffin, not for spoilies, but you had to go kill some things, and you go to kill these things, and you find out that those things aren't actually there to be killed. And the reason for that is
Where normally they are. I mean,
table
if
with
you've been
some-
through the area
yeah,
before, you know
if you
that
go
they're
through
normally
if you've been in the even if you haven't been in the area before, because you got the little arrow that points you to
Yeah.
to where they're supposed to be, and you can't find them anywhere. So, and the reason why is because these things share what's called a spawn table with two other monsters, which basically means that every time a monster spawns after it's been killed, it has a chance of being one of three types of monsters. So if you go through and you're only killing one type of monster that shares a spawn table with two other types of monsters, eventually you're only going to have one or two types of monsters. Or, in this case, because there were two of those that needed to be killed, the third type of monster was the only thing there. Armies of lynxes as far as the eye could see. And there's no reason to kill lynxes in the Misty Mountains, by the way, because there's no quest that tells you to kill them, and they're not good for a deed to be killed. So there's literally no reason to kill lynxes.
Yeah,
They have
especially
fur.
So I get
since
up there,
there
and
might
all
be
I
really
can find is
whiskers.
lynxes as far as the eye can see. And I go, and so I'm like, oh great, I'm gonna have to kill these cats. So I'm slaying I'm my underleveled dwarf champion is out there hollering and brute Kazade Manu, and down goes a lynx, and there goes another lynx, and behind him stuff is respawning, and I see the message, so and so has killed Snow Lurker. And turn around,
Which is what you're supposed to be
you've
killing.
got to be kidding me. And I look, and there's like 5 other people in the area, all of them level 80 and higher, and they're all of the only things they're killing are what I'm supposed to be killing for my quest, because I was doing Misty's quest
And
at
they're
the same time.
ignoring the lynxes.
So I finally got so frustrated. I'm not one of these people that sends random tells to people. I sent people random tells. I'm like, look, if you're on this quest, please kill the lynxes also, because they share spawns with the other stuff. I'm really tired of being the only one killing lynxes.
So shared spawn table. So there, and this also has use for anybody who's a prospector in crafting. If
Yes.
you're going after the rare ore, for example, gold or platinum or whatever, and you only go after those, they share spawn points with the other kind of ore. So what happens is, I've actually gone through areas where you just don't see the rare ore because that's the only thing people pick up. If you're going to go prospect, pick up everything, because then the spawn points have a chance of respawning the rarer ore.
Well,
So it's the same thing. I mean, it's the same sort
yes,
of thing.
but I was just wondering is you would think that you'd have a better chance of someone being in a profession that requires the more common ore. So it's
Yeah,
strange
but
that
copper used to always get picked out. K copper used to always get picked out. And gold gets picked out pretty heavily.
Silver gets picked
For-
out. Platinum
Yeah,
gets picked
silver.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
yes,
The
but
Jewelers
other,
are like,
the other
I'm just
area
gonna
where
scrap it.
It's tinkers in particular, because tinkers are jewelers and prospectors, and they don't need the other kind of ore. They need the platinum and the silver and the gold. So that's an example of a
yeah, but the
location where
metalsmiths
somebody's not that
and
interested.
the
Weaponsmiths.
weaponsmiths they need the irons.
Yes, I mean the
I
ratios are
understand.
correct, but what ends up happening is the I mean, the jewelers only need the one, and they're theoretically a smaller port, but the jewelers create consumables in the form of hope tokens and
Plus,
Yeah.
if you
other
recall
stuff.
back to my earlier point about auction house,
Yeah,
that's another reason to do it, is to
Yeah.
go get the rarer stuff, because you can get more money in the auction house for the rarer stuff.
yeah, that
There
too.
are
There's
other
that too.
zones in the game, by the way, where there are things that share spawns with other things. In fact, one of the
Oh,
other
right.
notorious ones is the Rushok Bog up in the Shire. If you've got that Slug Slayer deed, the slugs share a spawn table with the flies and the toads. So if you're going through and only killing slugs, guess what? You're gonna find a
Eventually, there's
bunch of
only gonna be
flies and
slugs.
toads is all that's gonna be left, and you're gonna have to kill all of that nastiness. So if you're doing Slayer deeds in an area, you might as well just kill everything that crosses your path, because you never know if it's gonna share a spawn table.
And there we
So
go.
this
So
comes
that is
so this
why
comes
they
down
matter.
to like the champion's basic motto, which is just kill everything. Just kill all the things.
Everything.
That's the whole reason to play a champion, is just kill it all. Okay, I'm
Just
done.
keep that in mind. That should be your motto.
All right, speaking of killing things, let's go to our week in Lotro.
Right.
And Aerother, what have you been up to?
A lot of epic stuff and ended wave exploration. I basically spent the entire week on Aerotiny, which is my Hobbit minstrel on Gladden, and last week he was at level 60. Today I got him up to level 68, and he's gotten some healing experience with some groups and stuff, which has been a lot of fun. But yeah, been caught up on the epic quests from like all of book whatever it is on volume. That one. I don't know which one it is, but basically the one where the Ranger Roundup. I did all that stuff.
It's volume 3.
And,
That's the beginning of volume 3.
Is it? Yeah. Okay. So I did volume 3 up to where it gets into Enedwaith and have been doing Enedwaith exploration and doing all of the quests I can. I found the Hobbit place today, which is cool because I've never been there. So yeah, lots of fun. And lots of leveling. Trish, what you been up to?
Maven, what have you been up to?
She's muted.
Sorry, I did such a great thing. I was like, funny you should ask, Aerotiny. My lore master Dresden and his Lynx Mister took my level 46 Hunter Maven to complete her first round of level 50 class quests, which is if people know this, it's the big bear Driftclaw and the Misties, and I forget the warg's name, but the big warg and Angmar. And the significant piece of this, I mean, level 46. Now I did it. I forget what we were at, level 45 or 46, I think, when Pineleaf and Terry and I did it with the field trip, but given that Glordriel was such a wuss about it, she did not go do these until she was well over level. So this is significant. So that was pretty cool because I was trying to figure out how I was going to get her in there, and I'm like, Dressing could take her. I could dual box. I'll take him, and it worked out great. And then because it's my birthday and because I was gone last week, there's just one more thing, which was that I was part of Grifflet's posse at Corey Olson's stream on Friday to do the last two Fornos instances, and we did them without wiping, which was pretty awesome, especially since in the shadow one we accidentally locked out one of our healers. But we also locked Grifflet out from one of the boss fights because guess why? He was busy looking at architecture. He goes,
so funny.
"Oh wait, the door's closed. I can't get through the door. What happened?" I was like, "Oops."
Oops. I was watching that and I'm like, yeah, boss fight going on. You're just gonna have to take it out. He's like, oh.
Oh well. So Carve, what did you experience last week?
Horror of horrors this week in Lotro. I was walking my free to play minstrel this morning into town, and I figured I'd pop into the vault and just like, you know, do a little banking, stick some stuff away and whatever. And I open the door and I hear this squish. Like I've obviously just hopped into a puddle of something, and I'm like, the vault's supposed to have a dry floor. And my loading screen comes up and my hobbit is jumping around uncontrollably. And I look and I'm thinking, why is he jumping? And every time he jumps, there's this horrible squishing noise. And I'm like, oh, the sewage has backed up into the vault. That's the only reason he would be jumping around uncontrollably like this. And I'm like, I can't stop him from jumping. So eventually I make my way out to the door and I run outside. Everybody's standing around like it's cool. And I'm like wiping my feet off on the dirt going, whatever. So I'm just like, fine, there's a problem at the bank. I'm going to head on down to Lalia's and I'll use the vault there. As soon as I get into Lalia's, I hear the same squish, and I'm hopping around like crazy. My hobbit's like barefoot. Sewage ain't happening. He's jumping around trying to stay out of everything. And I'm looking at the window, and he's just jumping. And then the crazy part is, it's so bad in Lalia's, he literally starts hopping into the air. Like by the end of it, my hobbit is like floating on the second story, and I'm browsing all the shops that you can't normally get to because I'm hopping through the rafters. And I'm like, what is going on? So I eventually had to log out and then log back in, and apparently the public works got everything cleaned up so that the shops returned to normal. But it was bizarre.
I think
Now,
that
from-
is the weirdest weekend game we've had yet. So congrats, Carve, on that. That is
You told me
crazy.
You highlighted this, right?
I will highlight it eventually. I haven't gone and done it yet. But from what I understand, it's a bug that happens very rarely. And I've seen it happen from the other player's perspective, where what ends up happening is it looks like you're swimming through the air. And that's what my this happened on stream. And so they're like, yeah, it looks like you're swimming. And I'm like, no, I'm hopping on my screen. It actually got me to the point where I was getting a little motion sick. I was like, oh, because I'm hopping up and down. But it was really weird. I've seen it happen in that swamp with the trolls, Harloeg down there in Lone Lands. And it was a hobbit who was just swimming through the air. I'm like, what's going on? Because it just looked like I was hopping
Yeah.
through the air. Eventually, when I got stuck up in the rafters at Lalia's, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to log. Because this isn't working. I can't get down to the door.
I know there was a way to to trigger the swimming bug in the fountain in Dol Amroth, where like if you walk backwards across a certain thing, you'd pop up into the air and then you'd be swimming. Then you could like swim around about 10 feet up. It was pretty great, and then they fixed it.
Yeah, well, that's
Sorry.
probably what the deal is. I
Well,
just
that's
must
a
have
bummer.
hit something as I went through the door, because next thing I know, I'm hopping around like, ew, what's that under my feet? Ew, get it off, get it off. And so it was odd. So Terry Adwin, I'm hopefully your week wasn't as eventful.
Actually, my week was pretty cool because the hunter that was level 90 something last weekend finished Volume 3 of the Epic Story and hit level 100 while running around Fangorn with Glordriel. So I have a second character at level cap for
Yay!
so excited. So excited because Terry's only been
So
capped for a
cool.
little over a
So
year.
cool.
So
And so it begins.
yeah, it's
That's
pretty
right.
awesome. Now I have to figure out who I'm gonna work on next because I've
Now
got
you'll be one of those people that goes,
Guardian.
"Oh, you only have one character at cap." Ugh.
no, I can't do my Guardian because I can't play my Guardian solo.
Oh, true. You should
My
roll
Guardian.
a Bjorning.
She's not.
Well,
Down
we
with
could
frickin'
level.
bears.
We could level Fairy and Fippin up together.
Down with the bears.
You should roll a Bjorning and then just take it to high level areas so that you can just see it die over and over and over again.
Except I don't like dying even when it's a bear. If I actually logged in, because I have one rolled, I just haven't logged it in. If I actually logged in the bear, I'd have to play it. I don't want to play it. So, yeah, I'm probably gonna like roll a die when I get the dice roller open later for Tales of the Free Folk, and then figure out from there. So, Andang, what'd you do this week?
Well, I helped Bingo, quote unquote, help a dwarf pirate.
Yeah, we were super helpful this week, weren't we?
Yeah.
We were. I don't know what Bingo is doing again.
I don't know what Bingo was doing. I mean,
Bingo never does
even Will and
anything.
Whisker got into that action, so
Yeah.
Well, there had to be a useful links in the area.
that's true.
And
one-
I still
the one
think
links
that
we
we
didn't
just
need to
like
kill.
I still think we just fed William Whisker food and then saw if he lived or not. I
Pretty sure that last time was the equivalent of Link's Nip.
So anyway, Pineleaf, what have you been up to this last week?
All right, I ran in a rather hectic Mythgard skirmish session where we were doing Protectors of Fungalhad, which is part of our series that we've been doing for the various skirmishes with the regular Mythgard group on Tuesdays, which is about every 2 to 4 weeks, depending on the situation. And in this time, we had 4 people who showed up for the skirmish this week. And we decided, all right, we'll all just run as one group. Now, I was a bit over level compared to everyone, so I thought, okay, we're doing Thunglehod, and the easiest way to keep a level 100 from doing everything was I went back and I stayed on the Ballistee while everybody else was in the circles fighting everything.
Wait
Now,
a minute. You said you were a little over level.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna
Well-
ask Pineleaf if he's feeling okay because he's never over leveled. Like this is
Plus, he says he was a little over level. And he goes in level 100. It's like I think that's like a lot over level, isn't it?
Well, there is that. We were running around 66, yeah, so that was
Yeah. Okay.
That was
And-
not skirmishing responsibly.
definitely
After
not,
being
but
over-
it is. But I had to be inside the skirmish because that's part of the thing is to
He's a guest
skirmish with
teacher.
Pineleaf and all that
Right.
stuff.
That's right.
So that's why we're running it with 6, and I wasn't doing much. The only time I stepped in was when the time when we had all 3 waves came in because there were one wave and they took so long because of the lieutenant that was there. The second wave came in, they're starting to do that, and then the third wave came in.
Wow.
And the third wave came in pretty much straight toward Rodell. That so I had to step in and take care of that group. And then, of course, there was the time when we had the Frostgrim Lieutenant.
Ow.
And the Frostgrim Lieutenant, of course, is going back and forth. So the Frostgrim Lieutenant would be fighting them out in a circle. Then it will fly all the way back to me, who is way in the back, and then it will fly back to the other group.
Oh wow. No wonder Corey, because Corey was really upbeat about it the next day. He's like, "Yeah, we had a lot of fun." No wonder he said that.
Oh
So-
yeah, the whole thing was quite hectic.
Well, it's
So-
always fun for Corey. He manages
It's
to
always
have
fun for Corey.
to have fun even when he's getting killed horribly. So
I know it's true. It's true.
Well, you do have a point with that.
So Pineleaf, you said
I'm-
you didn't step in until that third wave came in. So were you just like one of those like super annoying like warrior teachers that just like stands back while there's like 100 enemies and then decides to fight like
Well, you were shooting, right? You were
No,
shooting.
No, I
the
was
ballista-
shooting the ballista because
Okay.
you can fire the ballista without your level affecting. what's going on.
Right.
That's true. Okay. I should have
So
known. I
yeah,
should have
That was
known
as
that that's what you'd
responsible
be
as he
doing,
could
Pine
be
Leaf.
given the
yeah,
situation.
because that's
That was
that is
responsible
the
skirmishing.
Right.
all right.
I'd just like to call it now that we might just get a Protectors of Thanglehod pictorial primer next week.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely gonna
No,
be
It's
we're
enough.
not.
not getting one next week.
That,
2 weeks.
that was probably not a skirmish that he that
No,
particular
because
skirmish.
it'll be a while because I'm doing the epic ones next year.
Ah, okay.
All right, we currently have 21 supporters on Patreon. If you would like to join this illustrious raid of players and help support LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards including a mention on the podcast of your choice or even be a guest on LOTRO Players News. 21, isn't that quite a jump?
That is. This is because we've actually, because remember how last week they changed the way that they were factoring things? Well, they changed back because they realized that a lot of people got upset. And so we gained a few supporters last week, and we also gained a supporter this week, and so now we're up to 21 patrons, and that means that we're actually $18.50 away from a Lotro 1-year VIP giveaway. So we are getting super, super close, and just a reminder that every bit helps support the Players Alliance, and this show and the sites and all that stuff. So every bit helps. We'd love your guys' support.
All right, we did not receive any emails this week, but if you'd like to send us one, you could send it to podcast@lotroplayers.com. And you can also follow us at Twitter, the Players Alliance at Players Ally, Lotro Players at Lotro Players, Andang at PVMP_Andang, Arithert at Arithert, Carvet at Carvet LP, Maven at Tolkien Maven, Pineleaf at Pineleaf Needles, and Terry Adwin at Terry Adwin. The Players Alliance has 4 live shows currently running on Mondays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News. Every other Thursday at 9 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have XP Quest. On Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News. And every other Saturday after LOTRO Players News, we have Tales of the Free Folk. And you can join us for live shows by going to lotroplayers.com/live. Thank you everyone for listening, and this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.